But I did want to take a few minutes to just talk to you a little bit about some of the things I'm thinking about that hopefully will help you a little bit on your journey to be the best balanced literacy teacher you can be. One of the things that you might recognize, whether you're brand new to this kind of teaching or have been doing it for a while now, is that the relationship between teacher and student is really different when we teach side by side with kids, where we're not just lecturing at kids and we're not just telling them what to do. And that can be really tricky for both students and for us as teachers. And so one of the things that I've been really studying is what are those roles and moves that we can make as teachers so that kids see that we're there to support them but not do the work for them. One of the big goals, especially during the workshop parts in reading and writing workshop, right, for kids, is to develop the most independence they possibly can. And when they're independent, that means that they problem solve, they self-initiate, they self-reflect. And what happens then is we have a different job as teachers. If kids are self-reflecting, self-deciding for themselves what they're going to be working on, if they're self-directed, then what's the role of a teacher? And so a lot of times that can be frustrating, it can be scary, or it can be liberating, and sometimes all of the same, right? For me, at least, it was probably up and down all of those things. And so what I want to offer to you today is that there's sort of 4 key moves and roles that you can take on in this transition, whether this is year 1 or year 5 or more for you in teaching in this framework. So the first role we can take on is being a minor. So I call them the 4 M's, and being a minor is really taking on the role of seeing your job as uncovering and mining what it is that kids are doing as readers and writers, and what their process is. So this is really what assessment looks like. It's not the thing you do at the end. It's not sort of the summative assessment, but formative assessment is really understanding how kids think, what their process is, what's good for them and working for them, what is it that they struggle with. And that's a really important role, whether we're conferring one-on-one with kids or in small groups with them, or even in the whole class. Our observations, where we listen when they talk to one another, is all a form of being a minor. The second role we can take on is that of being a mirror. And when we're being a mirror, if we think about the role of a mirror in our lives, it's to reflect back what's actually going on. And so for students, what that means is, again, whether it's one-on-one, small group, or whole group, and any of the structures you have during balanced literacy, is to be able to let kids know what's working for them that they can continue to do and build upon, and maybe also pointing out to them sort of the natural consequences of the decisions and choices they are making. So just to give one example of that, if after observing a small group of kids reading a text, you notice several of them, when they come to a tricky and unfamiliar word, just skip right over it, and then it doesn't really make sense, we want to give feedback to kids to let them know that that's a choice they're making. So we might say something like, when you were reading, it seemed like often when there was a challenging word, these long multi-syllable words, the first thing you did was skip over it and keep going. And then later on, as a result of that, a lot of you were confused about what was going on. So when we skip over words, we often get confused. When we give kids that kind of particular feedback, that specific feedback, it's about the process they're going through. And we can do the same thing for them as writers. And that's really actually a powerful form of teaching. We don't always have to teach something new. We can be actually showing kids what it is they're already doing and what the consequence of that is. But then we probably want to take on the third role, the third M, which is being a model. And when we're a model, we're sort of modeling and adding to what kids already know how to do as readers or writers, but giving them something new that maybe they're not yet doing. So this is when I take out my book or my own writing notebook or writing folder, and I actually show them step by step a strategy that they can try out based on where they are now, but where I know they can go next. So if I've already been a minor and figure out what they're doing and not doing and how it's going, if I've already given them feedback about the consequences and sort of results of their strategies and what they're choosing to do, then I can add to that. And what I find is kids are more open and receptive to the modeling once they've been seen as a minor and been given that feedback. So they know that what we're teaching is very targeted for them. And then the fourth M is called being a mentor. And when we're mentoring kids, it's the opportunity to then not just show them what we do, but actually coach them to try it. So it's the difference between being a model, as I show in my book or in my writing notebook, and then being a mentor is when they try it in their books or their writing pieces. But I'm not just saying, all right, now go try it, good luck. I'm there kind of on the sideline coaching them, next to them, giving them prompts and suggestions, but not taking it over. And so what I find is when we practice those 4Ms, whether they're all in one day, in a week, over several weeks, kids really feel seen. Our teaching sticks because it's targeted and really intentional. And it creates that independence that we want, so students aren't sitting there waiting for us to tell them what to do all the time. Now, that was a really, quick summary and overview. If you want a lot more information and the details for how to actually do this and why this works, you can pick up a copy of Mindsets and Moves. It's my new book that came out last year, and it really tells you step by step. There's a chapter on each of those 4Ms, gives lots of classroom examples, as well as a photo tour and resources that you can use right away in your classroom. I hope it really goes well for you. I know my friends at Growing Ed will fill me in on the rest of your Institute week. And follow me on Twitter, send me a message on my website and let me know how things are going in your classroom. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of your Institute and summer. Bye-bye.